In a world full of chaos, suffering, and uncertainty, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson offers a powerful roadmap to help you navigate the complexities of modern existence. Combining profound psychological insights, ancient wisdom, and practical advice, Peterson presents 12 life principles that encourage self-discipline, personal responsibility, and meaning. Whether you're seeking to improve your relationships, strengthen your character, or simply live a more fulfilling life, these rules are designed to help you unlock your true potential. In this summary, we dive into each rule, unpacking the transformative lessons that can reshape the way you think, act, and approach life's challenges. Ready to take control of your life? Let's dive in. Rule 1. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. Rule 1 emphasizes the importance of posture, not just physically, but psychologically and socially. Jordan Peterson begins by discussing lobsters, whose dominance hierarchies are ancient and biologically ingrained. A dominant lobster stands tall, while a defeated one slouches. This physical posture influences brain chemistry. Those that win produce more serotonin, making them more confident and less anxious, while losers produce less, becoming more fearful and depressed. Peterson uses this example to show that how we carry ourselves physically impacts how we think, feel, and are perceived by others. In human society, standing up straight with your shoulders back is a metaphor for facing life voluntarily and with courage. When you present yourself as someone who takes responsibility for their own existence, people treat you differently. You gain respect, opportunities, and influence. More importantly, you begin to believe in yourself, which creates a positive feedback loop that reinforces strength and resilience. Peterson argues that many people slouch through life both literally and metaphorically because of past failures, trauma, or a sense of worthlessness. But the act of physically straightening up is a signal to both yourself and the world that you are ready to take on the burdens of life. This posture is not arrogance, it's the willingness to be vulnerable, face chaos, and assert your right to be. In essence, Rule 1 is a call to action. Claim your place in the world. Adopt a posture of strength, and take responsibility for your life. That's the first step toward order and meaning. Rule 2. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. In Rule 2, Jordan Peterson explores a curious paradox. Many people care for others, like their pets or loved ones, better than they care for themselves. They will dutifully give medicine to a sick dog, but neglect their own prescriptions or needs. This rule challenges us to reverse that tendency by viewing ourselves as someone worthy of care, support, and respect. Peterson argues that this failure to care for ourselves often stems from guilt, shame, or a deep sense of unworthiness. People know their own flaws and past mistakes, which makes it easy to treat themselves harshly. However, he insists that being aware of your imperfections should not justify self-neglect. Instead, it should motivate you to provide the help you genuinely need. He draws from biblical, psychological, and philosophical ideas, suggesting that humans are inherently valuable and that life's suffering makes it crucial to find meaning and purpose. Taking responsibility for your own well-being is part of that. It's not about indulgence, it's about treating yourself with the same seriousness, care, and commitment you would offer someone you love and are responsible for. This includes setting boundaries, pursuing what's good for your long-term health and growth, and refusing to tolerate harmful habits or relationships. You matter, and your actions should reflect that belief. Rule 2 is a powerful reminder. Your life has value. If you want to improve the world, start by taking proper care of yourself, as though your well-being truly matters. Rule 3. Make friends with people who want the best for you. In Rule 3, Jordan Peterson emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with people who genuinely support your growth and well-being. True friends are not just companions, they're people who want you to succeed, who celebrate your progress, and who hold you accountable when you stray. Conversely, those who encourage your weaknesses, enable your self-destruction, or resent your success are not friends, they're anchors pulling you down. Peterson draws on his clinical experience to describe people who repeatedly associate with others who drag them into chaos, often out of a misguided sense of loyalty or guilt. He argues that helping someone who doesn't want to be helped, or worse, resents your help, can be damaging for both parties. People must take some responsibility for their own lives. If they are unwilling to do so, you cannot force change upon them without harming yourself. This rule is also about self-respect. If you believe you deserve healthy, supportive relationships, you'll be more likely to seek them out. Choosing friends who lift you up is not selfish, it's necessary for living a meaningful and stable life. These people encourage you to aim higher, to be honest, and to confront your flaws without tearing you down. Peterson's advice is clear. Be around those who want to see you rise, not fall. Let go of toxic relationships, no matter how familiar or emotionally charged they are. Friendship should be a mutual pursuit of the good, not a trap of obligation or shared misery. Rule 4. Compare yourself to who you were today, not to who someone else is today. Rule 4 urges us to stop measuring our worth against other people and instead focus on personal progress. Jordan Peterson points out that constant comparison to others often leads to feelings of inadequacy, resentment, and despair. In a world of social media and endless public metrics, it's easy to believe you're failing because someone else seems more successful, talented, or happy. But this perspective is deeply flawed. Peterson argues, because everyone's circumstances, history, and limitations are different, you don't have access to the full story of someone else's life, only the highlight reel. Comparing your full reality to someone else's best moments is neither fair nor helpful. Instead, Peterson suggests a more productive and psychologically healthy alternative. Compare yourself to who you were today. This inward focus helps you track real, meaningful progress over time. Did you do something better today than today? Did you handle a situation with more patience, skill, or honesty? Improvement is relative and incremental. By measuring yourself against your past self, you build a sense of mastery and purpose. This rule also encourages setting small, attainable goals that fit your own life and context. It's about becoming a slightly better version of yourself each day, which leads to long-term transformation. In short, Rule 4 is about shifting your focus from external competition to internal growth. Life is not a race against others, it's a personal journey. Aim to be better than your previous self, and you'll find genuine progress and fulfillment. Rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. In Rule 5, Jordan Peterson explores the role of discipline, boundaries, and parental responsibility in child rearing. His key argument is that children must be socialized properly so they can function well in society, and this process begins at home. If parents allow children to behave in ways that are disruptive, rude, or aggressive without correction, they set them up for rejection by others later in life. Peterson makes the point that while most parents love their children, they can still come to dislike them if the children are allowed to behave badly. Parents may feel resentment when a child constantly whines, hits others, or disregards rules, but may ignore the behavior to avoid conflict or because they fear damaging the child's self-esteem. However, he stresses that failing to correct bad behavior does more long-term harm than good. Discipline, when delivered calmly and consistently, is a form of love. It teaches children that their actions have consequences and that there are limits they must respect. Without these lessons, children may grow up entitled, impulsive, and ill-prepared for real-life challenges. Peterson also emphasizes that children test boundaries naturally, and it is a parent's job to provide those boundaries with clarity and fairness. Ignoring misbehavior or always giving in leads to chaotic households and unhappy families. In essence, Rule 5 calls on parents to be courageous and conscientious. Loving your child doesn't mean letting them do whatever they want. It means guiding them so they can grow into capable, respectful, and well-adjusted adults. Rule 6. Set your house in perfect order before you criticize the world. Rule 6 is a call for personal responsibility in the face of suffering, chaos, and injustice. Jordan Peterson begins by acknowledging that life is filled with pain, illness, death, betrayal, and failure are inevitable. Some people, overwhelmed by this reality, become resentful or nihilistic. They blame the world, society, or even God for their suffering, sometimes turning to destructive behavior, both inward and outward. Peterson argues that before anyone has the right to criticize the world or attempt to change it, they should take a hard look at their own life. Are you taking care of your health? Are your relationships honest? Are your habits productive or harmful? Are you avoiding responsibility or harboring resentment? These are the rooms of your metaphorical house, and they must be put in order first. This rule doesn't mean you must be perfect before speaking out, but rather that self-righteous anger is often a mask for unresolved personal issues. By confronting your own shortcomings and cleaning up your life, physically, emotionally, and morally, you gain credibility, clarity, and strength. It also leads to genuine improvement, both for yourself and for those around you. Peterson uses examples from history, religion, and psychology to support his point. Meaningful change begins at the individual level. When you face your personal chaos and take responsibility for it, you're in a far better position to judge or fix the wider world. Rule 6 is about humility, accountability, and the power of cleaning your own room, literally and metaphorically, before trying to fix everything else. Rule 7. Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. Jordan Peterson draws a sharp line between living for short-term gain, what is expedient, and living for long-term purpose, what is meaningful. Expediency means taking the easiest path, avoiding discomfort, lying to avoid conflict, seeking pleasure over responsibility. While tempting, this approach ultimately leads to suffering, emptiness, and chaos. Peterson argues that the antidote is to pursue what is meaningful, even when it's hard. Meaning comes from taking responsibility for yourself, your family, your community, and the world. It requires sacrifice, discipline, and often delayed gratification. But unlike expediency, meaning creates depth, fulfillment, and a sense of order in the chaos of life. Drawing from religious stories like the sacrifice of Christ and the teachings of ancient philosophy, Peterson highlights how suffering is an unavoidable part of existence. Trying to avoid it leads to worse outcomes. Instead, meaning gives suffering a purpose. If you willingly accept life's burdens and aim at something higher, you transform your pain into strength and resilience. He also suggests that meaning is found not in grand gestures, but in daily choices. Telling the truth instead of lying, helping instead of ignoring, building instead of destroying. Over time, these small acts accumulate into a meaningful life. In essence, Rule 7 teaches that you should not live for what's easy or immediately rewarding. Instead, aim at what is good, true, and lasting, even if it's difficult. That path leads to genuine purpose and peace, even amid life's inevitable suffering. Rule 8. Tell the truth, or, at least, don't lie. Rule 8 centers on the power of truth and the destructive nature of lies. Jordan Peterson argues that speaking the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is essential for personal integrity, mental health, and social harmony. Lying, on the other hand, distorts reality and leads to chaos. Even small, seemingly harmless lies build up and eventually trap you in a web of dishonesty that can destroy trust, relationships, and self-respect. Peterson acknowledges that telling the truth is difficult. People often lie to avoid conflict, protect their ego, gain an advantage, or preserve comfort. But these lies accumulate, and each one takes you further from what is real. When you lie, you betray yourself, act against your conscience, and feed a false version of the world. Truth-telling, in contrast, aligns you with reality. It demands courage because it may cause short-term discomfort or confrontation. But in the long run, it lays the foundation for genuine connection, clarity, and personal growth. Truth helps you navigate life more effectively because you're not operating based on illusion. Peterson also offers a practical alternative when full truth feels unreachable. At least don't lie. If you can't say the truth outright, remain silent rather than speak falsehood. This minimum standard helps preserve your integrity and keeps you from descending into self-deception. In short, Rule 8 is about living honestly, with yourself and others. Truth is the foundation of meaning. And by refusing to lie, you orient your life toward what is real, stable, and ultimately redemptive. Rule 9. Assume that the person you are listening to might know something you don't. Rule 9 encourages humility and active listening. Jordan Peterson argues that, in conversations, we often enter with preconceived ideas or a need to be right. We may be so eager to present our own views or defend our position that we stop truly listening to others. This habit limits our growth and understanding. Instead, Peterson urges us to approach every conversation with an open mind. assuming that the person we are speaking to has something valuable to teach us. By listening with the intent to learn, rather than to reply or criticize, we open ourselves to new perspectives and insights that could challenge or expand our own thinking. Peterson suggests that good communication isn't just about expressing your own views but being genuinely curious about what others have to offer. The goal is to truly understand them, not just to win the argument or validate your own position. This rule also implies the importance of respecting others' expertise. No one can know everything, and each person brings unique experiences, knowledge, and wisdom to the table. By assuming that the other person might know something you don't, you foster a more collaborative and constructive dialogue. In summary, Rule 9 is about humility, curiosity, and being open to learning. It encourages you to listen attentively, ask questions, and take seriously the possibility that someone else's viewpoint can deepen your own understanding of the world. Rule 10. Be precise in your speech. Rule 10 emphasizes the importance of clarity and precision in communication. Jordan Peterson argues that many misunderstandings and conflicts arise from vague or imprecise language. When we fail to articulate our thoughts clearly, we leave room for misinterpretation, confusion, and unnecessary conflict. This can lead to frustration and even harm in personal relationships, workplaces, and society at large. Peterson highlights that language is not just a tool for communication, it shapes how we understand and interact with the world. When we are vague or avoid difficult conversations, we avoid addressing the underlying issues, which can fester and grow. Precision in speech allows us to confront problems head-on, making them manageable and solvable. Furthermore, being precise forces us to think more clearly. If you can't articulate your thoughts clearly, you likely don't understand them fully. Articulating your ideas helps to sharpen your own thinking, making you more aware of your beliefs and motivations. It also gives you the power to influence others more effectively. As clear communication builds trust and respect, Peterson also connects this rule to the broader concept of personal responsibility. Being precise in speech is part of taking ownership of your life. When you communicate clearly, you take control of your intentions and actions, creating a life based on truth and integrity. In summary, Rule 10 calls for clarity, responsibility, and thoughtfulness in communication. By choosing your words carefully, you align yourself with reality and foster stronger, more honest connections with others. Rule 11. Do not bother children when they are skateboarding. In Rule 11, Jordan Peterson draws attention to the importance of allowing children, especially boys, to take risks and face challenges. He uses the metaphor of a child skateboarding to explain a broader principle. Young people need to experience difficulty, failure, and even danger in order to grow, develop resilience, and build confidence. Peterson points out that modern society often seeks to protect children from every possible risk. This overprotection, while coming from a place of care, can hinder the development of important life skills. By constantly shielding children from discomfort, parents and society may inadvertently prevent them from learning how to cope with challenges, adapt, and become competent in the world. Skateboarding is a dangerous activity, but it also teaches vital lessons about balance, persistence, and overcoming fear. Peterson stresses that children who are allowed to skate, figuratively and literally, learn how to assess risk, make decisions, and face the consequences of their actions. In the process, they gain the resilience needed to handle life's bigger challenges. This rule is not just about physical risk, but also emotional and social risks. Children need to be given space to explore, fail, and figure things out for themselves. This process of trial and error is crucial to developing strength, independence, and courage. In summary, Rule 11 advocates for giving children the freedom to take risks and fail in order to foster growth, resilience, and maturity. By letting them face the world with a bit of uncertainty, you help them become capable adults. Rule 12. Pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. In Rule 12, Jordan Peterson offers a more reflective and philosophical perspective on how to navigate the suffering and chaos inherent in life. The rule encourages us to find moments of peace and beauty, even in the midst of hardship. Peterson uses the simple act of petting a cat as a metaphor for taking small, meaningful pauses amidst life's struggles. Life is filled with suffering, and no one is exempt from hardship. whether it's personal loss, illness, or the unpredictability of the world. In these moments, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the weight of existence and lose sight of the little joys that make life worth living. Peterson argues that in times of difficulty, it is crucial to find small, simple moments of peace, whether it's taking time to appreciate nature, enjoying a quiet moment with a pet, or reflecting on something beautiful. By petting a cat on the street, you're grounding yourself in the present, acknowledging that while life is full of suffering, it's also full of small moments of grace and beauty. These moments of connection can provide much-needed relief from the heaviness of life. Peterson's message is that while we can't avoid the chaos, we can find solace in the quiet, fleeting moments that remind us of life's richness. Rule 12 is a reminder to pause, breathe, and appreciate the small joys that make life bearable, even when things feel overwhelming. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life provides timeless wisdom that can reshape the way you think and live. By applying these powerful rules, you can build a more meaningful, disciplined, and resilient life. The journey to self-improvement is ongoing, but each step brings you closer to becoming the best version of yourself. If you found these insights helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more book summaries, life lessons, and practical advice to help you navigate the challenges of everyday life. Stay tuned for more content to inspire and empower you on your personal growth journey.